Electric Adventures here with my monthly update video for September 2016. Month flew by very quickly, not a lot of videos from me, but we haven't had the best month here. Started out, and you will see this in some of my videos because I don't necessarily output them in order. The little dog, the darker colour one that you would often see in the back of my videos, became unwell early in the month. We basically had a late night rush to a vet at one stage, and we thought we're going to have to put him down, and he wasn't going to make it. He had basically his heart was giving out, and he had fluid as well, so he wasn't as bad as we thought he was at the time, so we took him home and tried him on some heart medicine and some fluid tablets, and we brought him home. He seemed to pick up, and he got to go down to our holiday home again, which he really enjoyed, but it's actually only a bit over a week ago. We found him outside lying in the sun, and he just passed away. So very sad, and I know a lot of my audience out there are familiar with the dogs, and they usually are in the background. The other little one, the lighter colour one, the fluffy one, is pining a bit for him and has been a little upset, but we're managing that. She's a lot younger than he was. No, he got a good run. He was a bit over 14 years old, which is not too bad. Yeah, but of course it was a very beloved family pet. So, by the way, his name was Waffles. I'm not 100% sure whether I've ever said what his name was, unless you go right back in my videos. Right, and on top of that, unfortunately, my wife had a heart and blood pressure issue earlier in the month, probably not long after the dog had problems, so we had a little bit of a scare there, and been a little busy and obviously stressed about that, so thus really reduced video output from me for this month. I managed to get a couple out in the last week and a bit, but we'll see how the video output goes. Obviously life is more important than making YouTube videos. But still collecting, still getting stuff. I do have some pickups, and this is why I explain about the dog. You will see the dog in future videos, because I record the when I open a box of items immediately as soon as I get it, but it can take some time with my busy life to actually record the gameplays. So of course there's going to be a little bit of disparity in there. Also probably why my appearance changed so much between videos, hair length and everything like that. But anyway, enough about that. So normally I start with other pickups, and I do have some. Basically this month I decided that I wanted to fix my gaming setup so I could have higher quality output on my TV for some of my devices. I was actually sort of spurned on by getting that MSX 2 Plus machine, and the picture isn't that fantastic out of the composite one on that particular one, and I wanted it on this side of the room as well, and so I ordered a SCART cable, and I thought, well, how long? I don't want to be plugging and unplugging SCART cables all the time. So I ordered a SCART switch, and I also thought, while I'm at it, I might as well order a SCART cable for the Super Famicom, the Mega Drive and the Neo Geo CD to get started. So I'm not going to show you cables, they're just cables, okay? I got them from, I think it's Retro Cable Shack, I think that was the one. And I got this. Now this wasn't cheap, but it's a very good SCART switch. So it's the 6-port one, and you can have an individual out going, one going to the TV and one going somewhere else, so that's where I can hook my capture up, although I can hook my capture up on the back of the TV, so that wasn't as important. But the main thing is I can have 6 SCART devices switched, plugged in, and switch between them and not get signal quality loss. There's quite a few like 3-port ones and 4-port ones, But by the time you have those 4 direct SCART, and then you've got all my other consoles through 2 other SCARTs, 2 other switch boxes, I needed a 6, so a 6 was most definitely. Now I may still upgrade, well, because of a little bit of consolidation, just about anything that the SNES cable plugs into can, and upwards, should better use that one cable. So rather than having everybody with individual cables, if I just change the cable on the end of the console, I might be able to reduce my cabling down. I'm also thinking of moving the TV, which you can, and gaming setup there, to be over here. But that needs to be when I get it some time off to actually be able to do that. So very happy to get that. Now, of course, then going to direct to RGB, fantastic output on the TV, but I've got no way of capturing that. So I hunted around and I got this Elgato Pro HD on special, and I'm not that au fait with the software compared to Open Broadcaster software, which I've been using for quite some time. You can use Open Broadcaster software with this. I haven't actually recorded anything with it yet. I've just been playing around with cables. I can't actually get the, because I need to come out of the, so RGB out of the consoles into the switch, and then component to keep that quality up to go into the Elgato. But I don't have a SCART to component cable. I've only got a component to SCART cable at the moment. So I need to find one of those, find some place where I can order one of those, or maybe I'll have to make one. I haven't made a SCART cable before, so we'll have to see how we go. We'll have a hunt around, but I've worked out how I can do composite recordings using this, and once again I could use S-Video, but you need another cable, and I'm not sure where you get one. So not having the best of luck with the Elgato yet, so thus I've had both the SCART cables and that for a couple of weeks, but I really haven't had the time to play with it. But I do have it set up back up again so I can record with composite using my laptop next to the TV rather than a cable going behind, so I can try and use the camera that's built into the laptop. I'm going to give it a go on my next video. There's a game flickering over there of what I'm trying to record at the moment. And I actually got a modern pickup. Now, this came from PlayAsia. It wasn't very expensive, and it is a bullet hell shooter called Calderas Blaze, and I actually quite like it. I've had a couple of goes at it, nice and relaxing, in between still playing No Man's Sky, and I've had a good play with that. Haven't made it all through to the end and died lots of times, and it definitely gets harder as you go through, but I've actually really been enjoying that one. I think that's all. There's a couple of things I got right like over this weekend, but that's in the next month, so we'll save them for next time. I don't think I forgot. Well, I probably have forgotten something, knowing me and my crazy month. Now, I always like to answer a community question in this video as well. Spread it around a little bit. This month it's TRexSpacestation's next community question. This is community question set 5. I think it was about September 25th or 22nd that he asked these. So the first one is, a game you've never mentioned on YouTube before. Right, well, I've tried to make sure that these aren't all MSX titles, because, you know, as you all know, I'm a bit MSX crazy, but this one is. It's actually an MSX title that I got, I think, off a Facebook exchange or something like that, and I've never done a video on it. It's one of those ones where I got the pickup and I never got around to making a gameplay, and it's actually called Cosmo Explorer, and it's a game that I played back in the day because these Sony games were generally available in Australia, and it's a bit like Raid on Bungling Bay in a way. It's a similar style. You scroll, it scrolls up, down, left, right, and you fly your ship around and you go places, and you've got to blow things up and you've got to go back to your base and you've got to repair your ship. So it's a bit like Bungling Bay, if you're familiar with that game, except with a spaceship. It's a lot harder, and it's a lot harder to understand. and I've only really had another quick game of this. My memory is a bit lacking on how you're supposed to play this game, and I think that's why at the time, I've had this for probably 6 months, why at the time I didn't finish making the gameplay, because I couldn't quite work it out at the time. I just need a bit more time to concentrate on it, but it's actually quite an interesting game, and I'd forgotten completely about it, thus why I've never mentioned it. Now this next one is a game with Disney characters in it. I do have quite a few Disney games and I do like them. I thought rather than selecting a Mega Drive game, I'd actually go back to the Master System, because I've mentioned the Master System for a while and I really do like it as a console. I consider it sort of like a console that is similar to the MSX machines in some ways. And I'm going to pick the absolute classic Castle of Illusion. Aladdin is also quite good on the Master System as well, but Castle of Illusion is an excellent platformer. Haven't played it for a long time, but it is well worth having a go at. I've got a complete copy, as I do of a lot of the Master System games, and a very good game indeed. Now next, a game exclusive to one particular system. I had quite a few things to choose from here. Of course, once again, this is one I could have selected an MSX title, because MSX has quite a few exclusives. Then I thought, let's try something else. So this is a title that's exclusive to the Super Famicom. Now, I do say it came out for the NES as well, but they are the same machine, so blurring the lines a bit here, and I really like this game as well. So that's why I've picked it, and it's actually Crisis Force. Don't have a complete copy of that, but it's as rare can be, and hard to get hold of at a decent price, and really you cannot believe this game is actually being played on Famicom NES hardware. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in the cartridge that adds on, as can happen with that platform, but it really is a fantastic game. Quite like the Aleste series or compile shooters, and very well done indeed. So number 4, a game set in the past. I was actually looking for another Panzer game, but there's a bit of stuff in the way in the corner of my PC section, and I remember I found this recently for cheap, and this is the Panzer Elite Collection. Not 100% sure whether I've shown this either. I quite like Panzer strategy games, and the original Panzer Elite. So this is the thing, I don't think these are more modern versions than the one I had. So the original Panzer Elite game was the one I played back in the day, and I haven't had a chance to have a go at these games yet. But anyway, a game set in the past, Panzer Elite. Now, a game that made you think. Could have very easily selected a Lode Runner game, but I thought I would go for something different. And this game is called Eggland 2. So Eggland was the first game of the MSX. Eggland 2 is obviously the second one, and the Lolo games on the NES were actually made. Lolo on NES and Famicom were actually made after the MSX one, so they follow on from these. That's why the name change, but it is the same character, little round blue guy, and he's an egg. It's a screen by screen, so no scrolling or anything like that, puzzle game where you have to figure out how to get to the exit, and each cartridge has 100 levels in it. And they are very hard. I haven't finished this number 2, because definitely, as I said, it's got 100 levels in it, and it definitely makes you think. But there are quite a few very good puzzle games for the retro systems, of all different sorts. So I could have selected quite a few others. So anyway, go check out T-Rex's channel and video. I'll put a link down below. Maybe you want to answer the questions yourself. It's always good fun. The idea of his community questions is to get people to show things out of their collections. So you can answer from anything, modern, retro, doesn't matter. And it's always good fun. Always like to do a little homebrew update. Because of the other happenings, I haven't made any progress that I can say, look, here's massive progress. I have worked on some games. I've actually spent a bit more time though on my sprite and tile editor for the MSX. I'll try and pop some screenshots over here. And I've released a new version of that. I'm not sure I mentioned that last month I got a proper software signing certificate. So if you download the latest version from my website, this is the only thing, the people who have downloaded this tool in the past, you will need to uninstall the previous one and go to the link on my website and re-download it. Because it has a certificate now, it actually thinks it's a completely different piece of software. But now the actual tile editor part or tile or character editor part is working really well. You can edit your line by line color, and you work in sets of 4. Now I haven't actually done a screen layout where you can take the tiles and lay them out on a screen yet and make up different sets. That's next. And I've also started on a little bit of a sound editor as well. Only difficulty I'm having with that is that I've never output sound in Windows before, of all things. So I've got to learn how to use DirectSound to get that working. So I'm adding to this as I need it for my own software developments, and of course I'm putting it out there for all you guys to have a go at as well. And I might do an update video on this when I've done a bit more work on it and add it to my Let's Make a Retro Game series. Now, speaking of that, I have done some more work towards that series. I'm trying to get set up so I can do about 4 episodes, record them all at the same time and then release them over a period of time. My A to Z of my MSX collection series finished, last one done. Go and watch those. That was good fun making those over the last 2 years. I'm still thinking about a replacement series and which system I'll do that on. I've just got to address, I don't think I have another collection where I have a game in every letter of the alphabet. I've just got to check, but maybe I do it and I skip some letters or something like that. But I'll come up with that later, but I'm more focusing on the series that I have. So Let's Make a Retro Game will be a bit more of a focus, and of course some more pick up and plays, because I have got a bit more stuff. I've also got some stuff that I've been given from fellow YouTubers, but I've just been having trouble with the recording parts. I've even got some Neo Geo MVS stuff, and I have a loom that or a jammer harness over here which I've almost finished wiring up, but just haven't had the time to finish it off, so I can do the rest of the video for that. So, lots of things on the go. As I said, thinking of moving the room around a little, so it's always nice, good way to get everything clean too. So, lots of things happening in Electric Adventures lair here. Alright, enough waffling from me for this month. So, I'm Electric Adventures. Thanks to all my subscribers. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.